The Maritime Women's Basketball Association tips off in just a couple of weeks. Very pleased to be joined by Mark Ford. He's going to be the head coach for the Halifax Hornets, the defending champions of the league. Mark, welcome to the Atlantic Sports Wire. How are preparations going for the second season of the Hornets?
Well, considering this is our other job, it adds a little bit to our day-to-day plates with having families and full-time jobs and trying to coordinate tryouts and gym rentals and getting the players to the gym that have exams, and some of them are moms. So, it's all par for the course, but very hectic and but very exciting at the same time. And we've had a couple tryouts already.
Yeah, you had a couple that were posted this week. What are the players looking like? And do you have a roster starting to shape up, even though preseason and regular season still a few weeks away?
We had a pretty good turnout. We had 16 come out to the tryouts, and we had a couple players that have been invited, but they had been away. So we'll get a peek at them on our last tryout next Tuesday. Great energy in the gym. We have 8 back from our championship team last year, and some individuals that showed up this year that weren't on our team last year will bring some great energy to our team, and some youth, and also some just some excitement for them to be part of the league for the first time.
We talked about it last year a number of times. I interviewed Tasia McKenna from the league. But if fans haven't had a chance to get out and see games during season one, from what you know and what you've seen and even during your tryouts, what can fans expect when they come out to watch an MWBA game?
Well, I think every franchise has done a really good job of having fan interaction, having the players accessible to the youth that come to come to watch. And I think everything exceeded our expectations last year as far as, people that have come to the gym and the numbers online to watch from all over the world. And we're hoping to really grow on that number this year, both in-house and also online. So, I think we're trying to create a really fun environment that the players can play in, and also just a great fan experience, especially for the youth, and a great and an affordable outing for a family to come and watch.
Some great regional rivalries in this league, but certainly right here in HRM, the Halifax Hornets and the Halifax Thunder, the two teams that met in the championship game. What does that rivalry mean to you and this team?
Well, there's a couple storylines inside that rivalry for sure. Both myself and our coaching staff are very. We know their coaching staff really well, and we know all the players know each other. It's kind of like who's doing the recruiting and who are they signing with, and then you throw the ball up and you want to have good competition. Last year, the Thunder absolutely destroyed us and embarrassed us in a couple of games in the regular season, and we just felt we didn't show up very well in those games. And it was nice to sort of meet them in the pinnacle of the first year, and we still felt comfortable we could beat them, but the players played exceptionally well that game, and it was a really, really great day for not just our organization, but all the organizations, because it was a great game, and it really showcased the talent that some of these players still have and want to show everybody. And I think for the league, I don't think they could have asked for a better outcome.
Should mention as well, duties that we're talking about today with the Halifax Hornets, but you're a longtime head coach of the women's program at Mount St. Vincent University, the Mystics, a very successful program. What has being part of that basketball program meant to you in your career?
Basketball has provided so much for me as a player. And then when I transitioned into coaching, just the people I've met and the impact you have on some of these young players coming out of high school in their life and their ability to teach them and continue to teach them some life skills and build relationships. I mean, I only have 2 boys, and I don't have any daughters. So when you coach the women's team at the Mount, for me, it's like having 16 daughters. And, I really take a lot of pride into treating them as people first, and then student athletes second. And I just really feel fortunate to be able to have taken over the legacy of the late Derek McDermott. And every day I work so hard just not to mess up what he started there, and just to continue his legacy and just have the impact on these younger players to love the game, and then to continue on playing or giving back by coaching. And I think it's provided an opportunity for me to be involved in the MWBA. When Brad reached out to me when this thing started, and obviously being in the position I was at the Mount, and also being at Mount St. Vincent, it stood for a lot of the things that I believe as a coach and as an employee and a person with Mount St. Vincent.
Something I talked about a couple of times last year with Tasia McKenna. We talked about what it meant for a lot of these players who play university or college ball, and then their basketball career at a high level kind of comes to an end because they didn't have another place to go locally. Now they have this Maritime Women's Basketball Association, and a lot of players were away from the game for a number of years, got back out on the court and started playing again. As someone that coaches at the collegiate university level, from your perspective, what does it mean for these players now to have this possibility to continue on playing beyond their college days?
Yeah, it's been interesting talking about that sort of angle, specifically for when they finish their playing career. They're at their all-time best. They've reached their pinnacle of their skill, and then it was like, so anticlimactic. It's like it's over, and then really nothing for them. So, it is an opportunity for them to either take a year off and then come back and have something to go for. It's also an opportunity for some of these players to showcase their talent, to be able to sign a pro contract somewhere in the world if they're thinking about doing so. It'll keep their skills sharp, and we've had that situation a few times, and I know we're going to have that more. But I also think it allows them to really have an opportunity to come out and continue to play and show the youth that there's opportunities outside the college and university basketball scene, that there's that you can go out and play and give it a try. And again, I think with one of the biggest things is that it allows it's a platform that allows a female basketball player to go out and show the youth that they can do these things, and also if you can just find a way to keep these young girls playing the sport, whether it's by putting this league on and having them players and then coming out and watch these great players play and interact with them, then I think that's huge. And so, yes, it gives them a platform to continue playing. They maybe have the ability to sign a pro contract. They can still, compete and have the camaraderie, meet new relationships, and play with players they played against. I always find that interesting too. It's like 1 minute, you're playing against them, and then, the next minute they're on your team. So that's kind of unique. And then again, I think it's a priority for all of us coaches and players and everybody to get these youth to stay playing the sport.
Yeah, really well said. And a couple of other neat stories. I remember speaking to a couple of different players last year, saying how in their university or college career, they played after a certain player had graduated. So they knew the player, but never got to play with them or against them because of the way the college careers went. But now here they are finally getting to play. So there could have been somebody who graduated from Acadia in 2014, somebody who graduated from Acadia just last year. They knew about one another, but now they're getting to play on the same court. That's kind of really neat as well. Do you have a couple of stories like that kind of resonate with you real quick?
Yeah, I mean, we have a couple of players on our team last year that played for Mount St. Vincent, and they didn't play a whole lot. But what I found really interesting was the energy that they brought to the gym. Kind of energized some of the older players on the team, and the older players on the team would, you just rubbing elbows with them, like the Jay Lyns and the Jasmine Parents and the Leah Martins. I mean, Kaylin Crosby. You can go on and on and on. Like just being around these successful women away from the court and their careers that they had. I mean, it's the synergy there is just so incredible. And then another story I have is Jayla Verney, who played for Citadel High. She went on to play for Holland College, and of course, I coached against her, being at the Mount for several years. And Jayla is a player that can just take over a game. And when she started doing that, you felt hopeless and helpless as a coach. And then there was, so you built this kind of, oh no, there's Jayla again. Like, oh, I don't want Jayla to play today. Or, like Jayla's a handful and we're going to have problems with her. But then, so you kind of know she's the enemy when you're coaching against her. But then when she came out and played for the Hornets last year, I had to go up and we had to have a little conversation and say, hey, Jayla, didn't really like you too much in a Holland jersey, but I really love you in a Hornets jersey. So we had a good chuckle about that. And, every time I see her, she kind of gives me that look and says, I'm with you now. So, and I'm like, that's great. I really appreciate you playing for me because I do not like coaching against you. So a couple of things like that are always nice.
Yeah, some excellent stories for sure. We'll wrap up with you here in a second, Coach. So a couple of weeks again before the preseason and then the regular season starts, scheduled for the 7th or 8th of May, depending on what city you're in with the league. But what's next for you now and the Hornets over the next couple of weeks in terms of getting ready for that opening game?
Sure. Yeah. Well, we have our last tryout. It's been very competitive. We're going to have to make some cuts, and that's never fun. That's just part of the job, I guess. So we'll get our official roster named by probably Wednesday, Thursday next week. We'll send that off to the league before its due date. And then from there, we'll get right into our practices, try to keep things simple and get the team up and running and getting them gelling as best as we can before our first game. We've got some sponsorships that we're still working on. And, obviously got to take care of all the gym rentals and minor officials and clothing and, make sure that we're a big part of what we want to establish this year is making sure that we are engaging the youth more so than we did last year. So we're working on some ideas there and some commitments there that we've made from our sponsors' perspective. So, yeah, it's just about bringing it all together and getting ready to compete, throw that ball up and really just have some fun.
Coach Mark Ford, we appreciate your time. Best of luck over the next few weeks for preparations. And of course, good luck during the season.
Great. Thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it.
You can find out more about the league and its teams at the mwba.ca. That's their website online. In Halifax, I'm Scott Squires for the Atlantic Sports Wire.